All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Take Action Partners Discovery Call for the Money Max account system. I am always excited to have an opportunity to share with you about this program. I want to just give you a little bit of information about myself. My name is Joni Kelley, and I'm an independent agent and executive director with United Financial Freedom. I've been a firefighter for 26 years. I've actually just started my 27th year. My husband's a firefighter. Together, we have a blended family. We've got 7 kids, we've got 5 grandkids. It's a very busy household. Um, just a little bit about why I love doing this. We began using the Money Max account program 12 years ago, back in 2009. And since then, we paid off our first home. We had a very dear friend tell us about this program. It took me 3 times to allow him in my home to talk to me about this program. I find that very ironic now that I'm sitting on this side of it. But it took me 3 times to listen to him, and I'm so glad that I did. At that time, we had a home with a remaining balance of about $147,000. And in 7 years, we paid off that home and almost $100,000 in debt, which included my son's college years and a whole bunch of things that came up unexpected. It was only 7 years that we paid all of that off. So I am excited to be able to share this with you. I hope you're not like me. I hope it doesn't take 3 times to listen to this. I'm going to do the best job that I can to make sure you get it the first time. So without further ado, let's talk about who succeeds and who fails. The Social Security Administration did a study of 100 people, and this is what they found after those people worked 40 years. 54 would be broke. They would either be dependent on Social Security, relatives, friends, charity, some type of public assistance. 36, unfortunately, would no longer be with us. 5 will need to continue to work. And that probably is a lot higher today because of the cost of healthcare. Healthcare is driving people to continue to work. My mom is 74. She still works full time. And she told me, Joni, I'm working because of healthcare. So at least 5 will need to continue to work. 4 will be financially secure. Only 1 will be wealthy. So what does that tell us? Well, the reality of it is very sobering that for every 100 people after 40 years of working, only 5% will financially succeed. 95% will either end up dead or dead broke. And that's why you're here tonight, okay? So why is that? Why is it that people end up broke? Well, I'll tell you, I grew up in school. My school years were in the 70s and 80s. I won't tell you exactly how old I am, but I was in school during the 70s and 80s, okay? There was little to no financial education in school. In fact, every time I do this presentation, I talk about my experience as a freshman in college on campus and my never owned a credit card. My parents' education for me was money doesn't grow on trees. And so I knew it came from somewhere. And when I'm walking on campus, they see this freshman walk and they're like, hey, we got one. And I signed up for a credit card. It took me 3 months to run it up to its max, which was $1,500. I didn't know anything about interest. All I knew was about purchasing. And it took me 10 years to pay off $1,500. That is our education in school. So, because of that, debt is at an all-time high. That is our education. We're not learning about money. We're not learning about good debt versus bad debt. And so, what do we do as Americans? We have this way of life. I'm going to add one in here. I'm going to say we work jobs that we don't like to buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't know. It's a vicious cycle, and the result is debt. So now, if you're here tonight on this webinar, you're probably here because you want to get out of debt. And guess what? You're not alone. All across America, people are drowning in debt, student loan debt, car debt, mortgages that they can't pay, all kinds of debt, credit card debt. They're drowning in debt and they're either too afraid or too ashamed to admit it. Here's the problem. You cannot get out of debt if you don't do anything about it. And that's why you're here. You want to do something about it. So congratulations on tuning in. We have a solution for you. Debt really is big business. The less we know, the better the profits are for the financial institution. Debt does help us pay for things that we want when we don't have the money. But what we got to understand is the difference between good debt and bad debt, or it will cost us our future. What we'll do is just stay in that minimum payment cycle. We see it all the time on TV. They don't tell you how much you're really going to pay. They're just going to say your payment is only $99.99. We'll stay in that cycle for years, and we're going to continue to contribute our hard-earned money to the retirement of people working in those very profitable financial institutions. So we're going to start talking about debt right now, right here, because United Financial is truly buying America back one family at a time. So let's talk about some ways we're used to paying off our debts early. You've heard of these traditional banking methods: consolidate for a lower monthly payment, refinance to a lower interest rate, biweekly plan. Okay, so the first two, consolidating and refinancing, those are great. They get your payments down. But what do we do working those jobs that we don't like to buy things that we can't afford to impress people that we don't really even like? We run it right back up again. Now, the biweekly payment plan, that's great. On a 30-year mortgage, that's not bad. It'll knock off about 6 to 7 years off of your mortgage. But we can do better than that. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Now, we've all heard of those financial gurus out there. I'm not going to name any of the gurus, but my husband and I did some of those programs. Reduce your standard of living. We had 7 kids. I don't know how much more reducing we could do. It was very tight. Talk about eating ramen noodles. There's just things I won't eat anymore because it takes me to a place mentally. But I'm telling you, you can enjoy life with the program we're going to talk about tonight. There's another guru that maybe talks about sending extra payments to debt. The problem with the gurus is this: they don't agree. There's different methods for different people. Do you pay the highest interest rate? Do you pay the lowest balance? What about a snowball, a debt roll down, rolling payments over the next lowest balance or the highest interest rate? It can be very confusing. Why? Because everybody's situation is completely different. What works for you may not be what works for me. So we're going to talk about the Money Max account tonight. The Money Max account, using this account, there is no refinancing. There is no change to your standard of living. It is not a bi-weekly payment system. It's not a debt roll down. It's not a concept or a theory, but what it is a web-based financial GPS with a roadmap to pay down your debts fast. Now, it is individualized for your situation. If you're listening on this call, you may be single with no mortgage and a car payment and credit cards and student loans. You may be married and have a mortgage and student loans, car payments, 2 car payments. You may be an investor and you may have properties. This program will work for you as well. It's individualized plan for your situation. It's also for current and future debt. We have a proven 15-year history with over $2 billion in principal paid down. Now, here's the thing. You may be thinking, what kind of magical program is this? It is not a magical program. It's just math. And we're going to talk about that math tonight, okay? All right, we're going to look at an amortization schedule. We're going to look at a mortgage of $300,000 at 4% interest rate. Payment is $1,432.25 for 30 years. I'm just going to drop that 25 cents. I know it's there. I know it's going to affect the amortization schedule, but it's a lot easier for me to say 1432. Okay, so we're going to say 1432 for 30 years. Now, I'm not going to assume that every single person on this call knows what an amortization schedule is. So let's take a look at something before I start going through these numbers. We're talking about a $300,000 mortgage. The bank is giving you this mortgage at a stated interest rate of 4%. Okay, so we're going to keep that number in mind, 4%. Now let's take a look at column number 3. Every year, if you have a 30-year mortgage, it's 360 payments. Every year, you are going to be paying the bank $17,187. That's going to be divided up over 12 months. But I want you to take a look at year number 1 in column 1. The interest that you're going to pay out of that $17,187 the first year is $11,903.83. So remember that 4% stated interest rate that the bank is giving you? Well, actually, you're paying 69.26%. That is not 4%. So let's take a look at year 5. You are still paying in your payments of $17,187 that year. 63% of that money is going towards pure profit for the bank. 63.94%. Let's look at year 10. Year 10, you're still paying over half of your money towards interest to the bank. Let's look at year 15. Year 15, 46.24%. After 15 years, 46% of your payment is still going towards interest for the bank. We have created a better way so that you can put that money in your pocket instead of the bank's pocket. So let's look at a summary of what we just went through. Based on a $300,000 loan at a stated 4% interest rate for 30 years. Month 1, remember the payment is $1,432. Month 1, only $432 is going towards that $300,000. $1,000 is going towards interest. That means nearly 70% of your money is going towards interest. Well, let's see what happens in month 2 of this loan. Month 2 of this loan, you're now moving right along. You're making a $2 difference. Now only $9.98 is going towards interest. After the first year, all right, let's take a look at what happens. Look all the way over to the right. $17,187, and of that money, only $5,283 is coming off of that $300,000 balance. It's highway robbery. Year 5, $526 towards the principal, $906 going towards the interest. Look over here to the right now. You've paid $85,000 towards that loan. Only $28,000 is gone towards paying off your $300,000 borrowed amount. The rest has gone towards interest, $57,277. Let's look at year 11. Year 11, you are just now, look at columns 1 and 2, the principal and the interest. You are just now making a higher payment towards your principal than you are towards interest. But still, the total that you have paid, I need you to feel this with me. The total that you have paid towards your mortgage is $203,000, but only $70,000 has actually come off of that $300,000. Year 19, this is a very special year. You're at the halfway mark of paying down your original borrowed amount. It took, in this example, 19 years and 3 months. If you feel the pain on this example, I feel it with you. So what has happened? $215,610, nearly 72%, has gone towards interest. And I just have to take a short pause because that is astronomical. All right. So I want to ask you a question. Let's play a game of what if. What if you could make multiple principal payments all at once? Let's say in this same example, you could send $2,615 all at one time. That's September, October, November, December, January, and February's principal towards that $300,000. What if you could do that? What would it look like? This is the interest that it would cancel. It would cancel a total of $5,979 taken off the back end of your loan. Now I want to ask you something. What if you could do this over and over and over again throughout the life of your loan? Well, it can happen, and we're going to show you how. Most people don't actually have that extra money, but what we're going to do is help you combine banking strategies with advanced math and innovative technology in order to ensure every dollar you make either earns interest or cancels interest. Now, how are we going to do that? There's 4 requirements. You have to have debt. You have to have a checking and a savings account, and you have to have the MMA program. You can also, we have some wonderful, wonderful alternatives as well. You can use an advanced line of credit. It is not necessary for this to work. We've kind of coined the ALOC, or advanced line of credit term. And by that, we mean a home equity line of credit, a personal line of credit, or a business line of credit. Now, we also have a third option. So the first option is checking and savings. We call that an engine. So that's the first engine that drives this program. The second engine that can drive this program is an advanced line of credit. And we also have a third one that has just come out this month. We're super excited about it. And it is a wealth builder account at MMA Pro. We'll have someone talk to you about that. Get back to your agent and have them send you to a certified wealth trainer, and they can tell you all about that. But we have a third engine through an IUL, an Index Universal Life Policy, that can also drive this program. We're super excited about what's coming. And I have to stop for just a second because our owners, the owners of the company, wanted to figure out a way, how can we build wealth? All of our clients are paying off all of this debt, and the big question that they had was, now what? Now what do we do? And so they have finally answered that question, and we're all so excited about it. So please get back to the agent that brought you to this call so that we can talk to you about this. All right. So United Financial Freedom uses 4 money saving strategies. 4. We use interest accumulation, interest float, interest cancellation, and strategic payoff to help you rapidly pay down your debts early. We use this combination right here that you're looking at. All right, so we're going to show you an example of how this happens. John and Rebecca Jones. We're going to look at their income structure, okay? We've got $5,000 in income. Expenses are $4,800. And discretionary money, they have $200 left over after they pay all of their expenses. Their liability structure, and remember, everyone's debt structure is going to be different. You can plug yourself in here. We're just going to show you how this system works. Again, you can be an investor. You can be single with debt. You can be married. It doesn't matter what your debt structure is. It will work for your specific debt structure. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about a mortgage, $200,000 at 6%, $1,199.10 for 30 years. That's their mortgage. And then they have a credit card. Right now, there's nothing on their balance. The rate of the card is 12%, and they don't have a balance or payment, obviously, because there's nothing on there. There's no balance. So let's talk about John and Rebecca Jones. So here is how interest accumulation happens. Okay. So the Jones family gets paid $5,000, and immediately the program identifies money coming in. And because the goal of the program is to utilize money coming in to help pay or cancel interest, it's going to instruct them to move that money into the savings account to begin earning interest. Okay. Well, now you know it's not 2% right now, but this was an actual family that we used. Okay. At the same time, John and Rebecca will be paying all of their bills. They'll pay their mortgage payment, car payment, groceries, gas, and utility bills on their card. Now, you might be saying, well, I can't pay my mortgage on my card, or I can't pay my car payment. We understand that, but we wanted to use this particular example in order to show you how the engines will work to pay down the debt with the MMA. Okay. All right, so now they make their monthly mortgage payment. Waiting on my slides to catch up. There we go. They make their mortgage payment and they've accrued interest in their savings account by allowing their money to sit in the savings account for 30 days. That is interest accumulation. This strategy is one of the strategies that we use. So the following month, their money comes in and it's deposited into their checking account. Now, remember, in the previous month, they used the credit card to pay their bills, and now the program is going to prompt them to pay it off. Now, I want to ask you a question. If you borrow and use money at 0% or at 12%, whatever percent, but you pay it off before the end of the month, before the actual check or before the statement cuts, what will happen? Exactly. 0% interest is what's going to happen. Because you've paid off the balance before the end of the month. There is no interest charge. You've essentially floated the interest and used someone else's money without being charged for it. Okay. Next, the system recognizes it's time to pay the credit card. So it's going to instruct them to take $4,800 from their checking account and pay their credit card balance in full. And the system also recognizes the high amount of interest being paid on the mortgage. And what it wants to do is help them reduce that. So it's going to instruct John and Rebecca to move $37.89 over to their checking account and leave a reserve of $12.19 in their savings account. Now, also in month 2, the system is going to have them pay $39.89 from their checking account and apply it towards an extra principal payment on their mortgage. This one-time payment is going to eliminate 16 payments on their mortgage and cancel $18,000 in interest. That is called interest cancellation. So John and Rebecca are going to continue paying their bills throughout the month by putting their monthly expenses on their card, and the system will once again instruct them to pay off their credit card at the end of the month. Okay, so let's look at what happens after we apply that $39.89 to principal. So their loan balance was $199,801, and after that principal payment, it drops down to $195,612. So they reduced their balance by $39.89. Now, the remaining payments were at $358. It dropped it down to $342. They have eliminated with one extra principal payment, 16 payments. Their interest, $231,677 is what they owed. It's dropped it down to $212,931. They have wiped out $18,746. Now, imagine if you can do this over and over and over again, and the Money Max account is going to show you how you can do that. Remember, everyone's situation is going to be different, but we want you to understand the power and the speed in which the system can be used to eliminate your debt. Okay? Now, we're going to look at a side-by-side comparison of what we just saw. Okay, so a $200,000 mortgage under a conventional program, it's going to start off the same. The Money Max account is $200,000 using the Money Max account system, you start off at $200,000. Using your conventional system, you start off at $200,000. But let's look at the differences in the balance. So with the conventional, after 1 year, you're down to $197,543. But using the Money Max account system, you're down to $184,811. Now take a look at this. It will take you 5.5 years to reach the same balance in the conventional program as you will reach using the Money Max account system in this particular example. The repayment time, 30 years under a conventional program and only 10.4 years under the Money Max account system. Total interest paid, here is where I get really, really excited because I've experienced this once and I'm 4.5 years away from experiencing this again. So $231,676 with the Money Max account system, $70,422 total interest paid. I don't know about you, but that $219 $167,219 can go towards my retirement. That can help pay for healthcare expenses. That can help pay for a lot in your future. And instead of giving that money to the bank to then turn around, lend out, and make more money, you can keep that money in your own pocket. And I wish I had like an applause or something right there because, like I said, I've lived it and I'm living it again. It is a real program and it works. Now, we realize that most people have more than one debt. Which one do we pay off first? This probably looks like most of us on the call, or maybe not. But I'm going to say student loans, furniture loans, credit card, auto, mortgage, we could just keep going on. This is the typical American family that we talked about at the beginning of this call. The more debt we have, the more payoff options there are to choose from. We want to simplify that for you. Take a look at this. Fair Isaac reports that the average consumer has 13 active creditors on their credit report. 13, which means there's over 6 billion combinations that you could choose from in strategically paying off your debt. Well, guess what? You don't have to do that. We're going to help you do that. Just like a GPS, the MMA takes every single aspect of your financial situation into account. You just got to give it a little bit of information, like who do you owe, how much you owe, for how long, what are your interest rates, what types of interest rates are there, or are they? What kind of income? Is it one? Is it two? Is it commission? How often are you paid? What's coming down the road? I can't begin to tell you how many people are so surprised that Christmas is on December the 25th every year. Well, you don't have to be surprised with that expense any longer. You can put that in your financial GPS. You can put your vacations in. If you know you have to pay taxes, you can put that in. You can put tuition bills in that you know you're going to have to pay in the spring. And even when unexpected expenses happen, you can put those in as well. If your refrigerator goes out or your washer or dryer, put that into your financial GPS. It will calculate and tell you how to pay that off. All right. So each and every one of us, we have a little handy dandy phone in our hands, right? And when we want to go somewhere, we want to put in that address. What do? We text them and say, hey, send me your address. They send us the address. We put it in and hit a button and it tells us what to do. It guides us to make all of our turns. It takes away the stress of us trying to decide which route to take. It actually brings up a couple of routes that we can take when obstacles come up. Our GPS in our hand helps us to stay focused on the road. It tracks our success as we follow the route that it gives us, and it gives us the exact time that we will arrive at our destination, right? So guess what? The MMA system does the same exact thing, except it does it for your finances, okay? The MMA guides you to pay off all of your debts. You put all of those numbers in that we just talked about. It's going to take away the stress when complicated financial decisions come up. It is going to help you stay focused on your financial plan. It's going to track your success as you follow the program. And then it's going to give you the exact date, the month, the day, and the year that you will be debt free. And you can do this in as little as 20 minutes per month. We used to, me and my husband, or my husband and I, however you say that, my husband and I used to hate bill day when we would sit down and every month forecast and write out our bills. And oh my word, this program has changed our lives. We are not at our computer. We don't have to worry about it. We know when bills are going to be paid. We see them. It literally is in as little as 20 minutes a month. We just absolutely love this program. So as I said earlier in this presentation, the Money Max account program has a proven track record of over 15 years, paying off over $2 billion in principal paid down. Right now, our company has $7 billion under debt management, and we've paid down $2 billion. This program is so powerful that it's been featured in several leading financial publications. In addition, it caught the eye of a very important company by the name of Ernst& Young. Now, Ernst& Young is responsible for auditing publicly traded companies to make sure those companies are doing what is right for the consumer. So, in other words, they provide consumer oversight protection. Now, back in 2008, they performed a very intense audit of our financials. They had their accountants go through our program with a fine-tooth comb. And after they completed their audit, they found that we were doing exactly what we promised to our consumers or our customers, which is to help people pay off their debt in as little as 1/3 to 1/2 the time. They were so impressed by our company's excellence, they awarded us with the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Utah Region Financial Services Division. Now, we do stand in great company because these other companies that you're looking at, we all know them just by the symbol alone. Apple, eBay, Starbucks, Microsoft, they have won the same award. So we're so committed to helping you pay off your debt. We want to make it easy for you. We want to provide you with your very own financial GPS. To date, like I said, we have paid off over $2 billion in debt. It is a proven fact that achieving your financial goals begins with debt elimination. Now, as you've listened on this call, you may be wondering, will this program truly work for me? The truth is, I don't know. What you need to do is get back to the agent that invited you to this call. Allow them to run your free savings report so that you will know your financial freedom date. I want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I get really excited about this program. I've sat on the other side just like you. I was very critical. It took my guy 3 times to come to me and talk to me about this. And now the irony, I talk about it all the time. The irony is here I am now on this side. Remember something. The only thing that is standing between where you are today and your arrival to being out of debt is you taking action. So don't wait. Take action. Get back to the agent that invited you to the call. Good night, everybody, and God bless.